Good afternoon, everyone. Let me know if the sound levels are correct. I'm still having sound feedback troubles. I can't get the source of it. It's probably a little check bark somewhere that I'll figure out. But let me know if I'm too loud, too soft, or something else. And if the background music is driving you crazy too. So let's start off. Today is, the 28th of October 2019. In this episode, we're going to say, don't snooze now. This is when the altcoins are getting ready to be taking off. We're going to see some explosive moves at the beginning of this bull market, and we are standing on the edge of them right now. So we're going to see some amazing gains. We've already seen some fantastic setups and some blast off of these moves. So don't snooze now. Don't let yourself get discouraged because things have pulled back. In fact, this is the time to be most vigilant. Now, of course, this isn't actually trading advice. It is advice there to click on subscribe. It doesn't make any difference except it makes me happy. Now, let's jump into the charts. And in this episode, we normally go through the big 7 coins that trade on BitMEX, and we go through our technical analysis with them. And I go through the relative strength index, the on-balance volume, the MACD indicator, Ichimoku cloud, and I've added in the Bollinger Bands in there. And at the end of the video, we get into the really good stuff where we get into Bitcoin dominance. We look at the longs versus the shorts. And we also take a look at the bull market watch spreadsheet, which I think is the mother lode of information for everybody who's looking to invest in a diversified cryptocurrency portfolio at the right time, build it up, and at the right time, unfold it and don't hold it. Hey, I like it. Is it safe to say TA can account for all non-whale god activity? No, TA is only part of the whole story, and risk control is the other side. TA is only part of it, and that's not all of trading. TA is stage 1 of the trade. Then we have stage 2 when you actually put the trade on. This is when you're instituting your risk control rules. Stage 3 is also risk control protection. Stage 4 is the only time we're really putting out the nitro, and we haven't got to a stage 4 in a crypto trade in a while. Stage 5 is when you close it, and if you don't have stage 6, which isn't part of trading at all, then the tax man comes after you, and it's always a pain in the ass. So doing the paperwork and the tracking of your trades is also majorly important. Otherwise, you never know where to correct yourself and improve your trading. So great to have you guys along. Let's dig into some of these analysis. Today, however, before I get into it, I'm just going to quick scan over to XMR as a special request here. XMR is in this downtrending parallel channel, and it hasn't made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that I've been able to do anything with. Even when this blasted out and everybody was super excited, I went, well, that's what my trading system kind of filters out, so I don't have to spend any time on that. And it's a good thing because I'd have to spend a lot of time managing that trade to be sure I don't lose money on it. So for me, this has got to continue this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and break up out of this downtrending channel and, build some structure above it. So for me, I can't do anything with this. It's just like downtrending, and it's been downtrending and downtrending and downtrending for a while, and I hate to say it, but it actually looks like the pissing off the roof formation just about to go further. And of course, there's no way for me to know, but that it's not made structure for a bottom formation means that I don't spend a second looking at this as a trading pattern that I look for. So I was calling for shorts all the way along here, but for my own part, I wasn't patient enough to go short and just sit on it. I would have done well, but I didn't have the patience. I was always second guessing it, thinking that this would come up, it would come up, and it would come up. But once it breaks these levels and the exponential moving averages have crossed over, that's it. Where is my EMAs? So once we're inside and we're underneath these exponential moving averages, it's downtrend. It's all double thinking to think that this is a bottom formation that hasn't proven it's up above this downtrend. It's just down, and I think it's going down further. So not starting off the show with the the pep in the step and the expectation that things are going to be blasting off, but that's because that is a privacy coin, and I think they're all going to get hammered. I think they're all going to lose it. Hello to Norway. Good to have you along. Can you turn up your watermark? Don't know what that is. Just like my voice or the background sound. Sound looks good. Okay, so here we are going through ADA. We're on the 1 day view. I want to zoom in more than that because the really important stuff is this potential bear flag. Now that it's set up here like this, and it has not yet given us a very deep 1, 2, 3 formation, as it gets into more of a parallel channel going up like that, now I'm watching for the RSI to break these levels and give us another move down as Bitcoin is taking off and going up. So I wasn't expecting that as I'm signing into this episode, but that's sort of why I do it, so that the charts tell me what's going on. At the same time, we do have the 1, 2, 3. It has broken higher and it's got structure above it. So if it is going to go up off of these levels and Bitcoin's going to ease back, maybe, but this parallel channel and the RSI and the shape it's in already has given me a bear feeling off of this, and I didn't like that. Now we got some selling going on in this on the end when we're looking at the 12-hour view. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see it was a big dump of selling that coordinated with Bitcoin taking off last Friday, but then the selling is really eased off. I haven't jumped into a whole bunch of buying yet. And so a trend trading trader wouldn't pay attention to this any more than the seconds I've already put into it, because it hasn't changed direction yet. It hasn't finished the bottom formation. It's just sideways stuff, ranging. And so for my main trading pattern, I wouldn't spend more than a second on this. I would just say not ready yet, and that's it, I'm done. But for this episode, I want to zoom in and see, just to record what's going on this, because now that I'm looking for this to be a bull or bear flag rather, then the next thing I want to see, to get the right indicator, is when is this going to cross back over to make this into a bear flag? For this to be a bear flag, it has to drop sharply as Bitcoin's taking off. Then the MACD indicator on the 4-hour time frame will have to cross negative, and we'll see that unfold here in the 1-hour time frame first. So as this starts to break this channel and starts to come down, that's our verification that it's probably going to be pulling back and Bitcoin's going to do another run up, just by the look of these first few slides. Now the Ichimoku cloud, as I go into this and I start zooming in, oh, okay, the 1-hour time frame is giving us a buy signal. I was priming myself, but look, it's already crossed positive, this is crossed positive. A break back down through this cloud will be a sell signal. I'm going to zoom back out again. Yeah, more sideways chop. Now I'm also interested in the Bollinger Bands, because I want to see what is it doing right at the very bottom of this band. Right at the very bottom of this band, what's it doing as it's crossing on the 4-hour time frame? The 1 hour is a very, very narrow band, so if it starts to break out higher than this, that looks really good, how it stayed right above the center line. Then again, if it starts to break below the center line, and we see our MACD indicator crossing to the negative on the 1-hour time frame, these are confirmations, as Bitcoin is taking off. This will give us more information to make a decision on. And I love recording these because later they turn into case studies that I can use for teaching this trading plan. Sometimes these case studies actually take months to unfold because we do a daily video and there's not much happens from day to day. But on a specific day, something key will happen. And if we have it recorded, then it can be chopped together in an edit to become a good lesson. This has a whole bunch of not much to talk about. And you can see it's right in between the range. It's in between things. So as it's breaking above, there's something to do, but as it's breaking below, there's something to do. I'm not going short on any of these just because we're at historical lows and I'm waiting for the bottom formation to mature and to give me all of the signals that the bottom formation is action time. This looks better. Why did I not see this on the other chart? 1 hour time frame, that consolidation and the way these candles have come together here looks pretty good. In that we have the bowl shape, this triangle consolidation. No action point though until it's up above these ranges. It's just range trading, and I'll have to say that it's not my forte. I tried a whole bunch of different trading accounts and monitored and tracked them all, and I found that the one I did best on. And then I started to really study out that pattern and really get detailed in it, because I made a killing off of the last few altcoin bull runs, and I'm really put the effort in to be prepared as possible for this bull run. And not just prepared with my own trading, but making it available so that other people can access it, ask me questions about it, and together over the last year, we've really fine-tuned our information. It is phenomenal. It's really taking off well. I'll talk more about that at the end of the episode too. Let me go in. This is just, I'm trying to look at this for something out of the 1 hour time frame. And as it's crossed out of this and crossed across, it's consolidating. But the Bollinger Bands are just a bunch of research for me right now, I gotta say. Let's go on to EOS. Oh, I see. My watermark is dark, so you can't see it on the black background, but you can see it on the white Ichimoku cloud background. My watermark. Okay. Oh, that's the YouTube watermark. Yeah, I can only have that work properly on the right background. That black background gets it. I'll pay attention. Thank you. What are we looking at? EOS. All right, so it's much more the same story on all of these. It's more in between status. These specific group of coins that we're going through here are not the racing coins of the day. They're not the ones taking off the most. If I go and grab Binance right now. AMB is taking off. Storm is up 15%. TRX is up a little bit. We'll have to go and take a look at that. So EOS is in the middle. We've got these, the formation set up in our relative strength index, but until it's breaking above these levels, it's all nothing to do. So I try not to spend time on the charts that look like this. I'll take a second to look at the dumping pattern here and go, okay. But until I see it switching around and starting to give me a direction, and it has to be to the upside for me, it's just a bunch more waiting. I'll observe what's going on with the MACD indicator, because I know that when this crosses and we're going up, this is a great confirming indicator. So EOS on this time frame still easing off. Kind of looks like the pissing off the roof formation here, like softening, like it's losing power here. The beginning of the parabolic move down. So if Bitcoin really does start to take off, these really could take a big swim just by the look of some of these charts. And I was coming in expecting to be a little more bullish off of this. 1, 2, 3, say, don't snooze, get ready, it's going to be taking off. But don't snooze, because if it dives, this is a good time to be easing up on more of your positions. We'll take a look at how we went through easing off on our alt positions. We've got another 10 minutes here to go through these because there's just so little to look at. Now that we're getting into this, is got a bit more juice to look at. What I want to see here is we're going right down to the 50% level, even a little bit deeper on this Ethereum move. Now it's consolidating, and in this consolidation we have the RSI pulling back, making a great trend line. So now I want to clear this off and zoom in on the 4 hour time frame. Whoops. Even the 1 hour, we can see this divergence where we have a pretty much even price, but the RSI is showing a divergence to the stronger side. Should we get a break above this, I'll be watching what the RSI is doing, and I'll need confirmation from the MACD indicator crossing to the positive. Just a quick look at the selling volume. At least we got dumping, less dumping, and some buying overall on the corner of this little flat area that we have. Ethereum MACD indicator, there is the cross. So that's what I'm looking for, is this positive cross in the MACD. So long as it stays crossing positive and we don't get it easing off here. If the 1 hour eases off, then I have to watch the 4 hour to see if it's going to ease off and go negative as well. So lots of watching right now. And maybe these are not the only, like these may not be the coins taking off. We're only looking at a subsection of just a few coins here. We've gone through 4, and Ethereum is inside this narrowing channel on the 1 hour. For me, it's giving us the 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Sort of nice. This range in here is sort of a 1, 2, 3 bottom. If we're starting to break above it, then I'll look for the other indicators. A lot of sideways studies. Let's quickly look at Litecoin. We're not going to get very much more data out of Litecoin. We're not going to see anything striking out of this. I wanted to just record it so that if we need this screenshot later to say, hey, there was something I missed, I want to see it now, but I'm not expecting it. We do have a cross to the positive on the 4 hour MACD, but I'll bet you on the 1 hour, as we zoom in on it, it's coming cross to the negative. So this has to pick back up, go to the positive, hold our 4 hour positive as we're breaking up out of these levels. But really, in the longest term time frame, these levels of Litecoin prices are insane. Insane. I was expecting them to be hitting $800 to $1,000 per Litecoin in the next 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 months ago. So here we are at a bottom formation, still watching. It's a double bottom. I like that it's making this double bottom. I know in the longer terms we have a divergence setting up here. This could be a springboard trade entry out of this area if it starts to break higher. I'll lean on that if it starts to go. And Litecoin Bollinger Bands. I lost the chat, so I'm not seeing it. Oh, I mean the opacity brightness of the watermark in the background, which shows on which chart we are, like ADA. Oh, okay. So the watermark is dark. I see. So what I could do for that scale properties is go to the background, watermark color, lighten it up. So now it's right strong. And I'll go to this one. I get it. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Background, watermark, brighter color. And this will be important for the next part of the episode. I want to go over some different coins. So let me get back to this. Scale properties, background, watermark, and this one. And then we can go on to the next coin here as well. Scale properties, background, watermark, brighter. Okay. TRX has given us some moves. Let's clear off all this stuff and zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. 12-hour view. So on the 12-hour view, we had our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the first weekend of September. Made videos about this, saying how amazing this bottom formation would be. But really, to buy there and just hold the rest of the time, the next 2 months, takes a lot of patience, a lot of belief that your trading system is going to be working, that this is the time to do it. Now it takes a little bit less belief. Even right here is a really difficult trade to hold without belief in the longer term. Now that it's taken off, is it too late to get in? Probably not, but you'd always want to start off small, especially after it's begun its move, and then slowly scale in. But look at the volume picking up in this. That we have one of these coins doing this means that we really have to be ready for the rest of the coins. We really have to be ready and believe in these 1, 2, 3 bottoms. Maybe they haven't broken out, and we could find some great opportunities right now, and really can. Some amazing stuff. What's going on with the relative strength index and the on balance volume? So the volume is like just wham, out of nowhere, kicking. Definitely amazing. A huge volume out of this. There will be other coins doing this very same thing. Is TRX, can you jump into it now? For my own part, it's okay for me to wait for it to consolidate into another something. There will always be another something, and I don't want to jump into it when it's running. I always want to get in differently. And we talk more about the entries and exits more in our course and stuff. Harder on this live stream. This wasn't easy to get into. For my 1, 2, 3 bottom formation pattern, this wasn't easy to get into, but we were definitely watching the divergences as this was setting up, because it is classic to look for a 50% retracement after a significant move. And look at this, comes right down pretty much to the 50% level, made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So if you did get in on some area like this, this is the natural add-on position for a trade, the patterns that we try to trade. Now it looks like it's taking off as we're speaking. Let's go into the Bollinger Bands because I want to do some study on this. It's just gotten wider. But you can see, I don't get it. Sometimes the Bollinger Band is phenomenal. Right at the very bottom, right at the very top of the bands, you could be selling and buying. But this detail of it staying right against the band for most of the time, I still don't have the skill and the idea of when to be getting in and out on this. Get in and out. It's easy to see it, but it's not so easy to trade it. So I keep watching it. I keep studying it. We'll get more details. I am quiet. Sorry, no Jack, low Jack. Actually, let me see if I can change my... And I'll do more fighting with that, but for some reason I get feedback now in a loop from my OBS Studio software. So it's playing me back to myself 4 seconds after I'm speaking, and it's incredibly difficult. Now, for my conspiracy theory, you may know I'm expecting Bitcoin to give us a big sharp pullback yet. Down to $5,800. And I have no idea if I'm right or not, but I'm just expecting it based on a couple chart patterns I was looking at. And you can see what I've got circled here is the Bitcoin longs versus shorts. And this is dated July the 10th, right up in here, where we had all of these longs up to crazy amounts. And then as the prices dropped, all the longs got liquidated. It was crazy. And now the price has moved up, nowhere near as high as it was, but the longs are edging back up to those extreme high levels. So I'm expecting, just out of pure manipulation and conspiracy theory, that this is going to be really driven down to unexpected lows. Lots of these longs are going to get liquidated, and then the big guys are going to be buying up all of that liquidity of Bitcoin. As people are getting killed, the big guys are going to soak it up. The only way for them to get real liquidity is to build up the market up into a bit of a rally. Everybody gets super crazy, puts all of their long positions in, then they smash the market down, and as we hit the liquidity pool of everybody's stop losses, then they can actually take a very large position in the market because they have the liquidity to buy it up. So if they put in $20 million to pump it up, they can push it down and make $1 billion out of it. You know, it's just crazy the way that it can be pushed back and forth. And this is what I'm thinking for that short-term, small manipulation, short-term, down 40%. We'll see how this plays out because I don't know. And as this is breaking higher and blasting through these levels, then I'm wrong. And that's okay. The thing I'm really excited about, though, is Bitcoin dominance. Look at this slipping down. This is the sign that altcoins are going to be taking off. But of course, the question is, which altcoins are taking off? Which are the specific altcoins that are taking off first? Because they don't all go. Some of them are taking off, like we see TRX moving now, but we see that ADA is still slinking along sideways. Some of them are great, and some of them are not. And we have a report, the Bull Market Watch spreadsheet here, that is showing that the other day we had a big move up in the number of failing coins. There was 87 of them, and they've way pulled back. We've got a whole big jump up in back into our neutral coins from 42 way back up to 111 coins that are in neutral stance now. They'll be all moving into alert status and then over into hold status soon. And if you'd like to get access to that spreadsheet, head over to the website introdocryptos.ca and you can jump in. Get all of this work that we've put together. It's phenomenal stuff. Let me quickly go over to the Binance Bull Market Watch spreadsheet. I want to skip across all of these, and you can see the change in data here. Look at these alerts. As Bitcoin took off, it squished all of our alerts right down to nothing. We had a big pullback here this day, but now they've come right back to life and they're springing back up like grass you've stepped on, and it just springs right back up. Here we go. From all of these fails and near fails, look at that, jumping right back up into a neutral stance. The next part of that wave is to move over into the alerts and then into our hold status coins. I just love this spreadsheet, and I'm so grateful to have AOL Chandra's help every day on this spreadsheet. She's been fantastic. Proof that you can teach this trading system and that you can learn it. You can learn this trading system. You can put all of this together. You can take our work and put it under your belt and just move on. You can take it and add on to it. XRP. Did I miss a coin? XRP. Look at this going. Love it. And we have some high leverage traders in our Discord chat have been talking about taking some nice leverage trades on this. Huge gains, because one Satoshi gain is it's amazing. And if you're doing 10 times leverage on these things, it's amazing. These are fantastic days, and we don't get these days set up every day, right? This is pretty unusual. Ripple, I think, is right back to that 50% level that we just saw in Tron. Look at that. Is that the 50% level or not? It's crazy. I don't do much with Fibonacci's. I think they're more like a horoscope, but that 50% level, you just can't deny it. And when I combine it with a 1, 2, 3 formation and these indicator divergences, it gives me a lot more confidence to take a position. First of all, the 1, 2, 3 formation brings us down into a natural triangle. And when we can build it up with a divergence in the RSI and the MACD indicator, then we get this risk to reward ratio that is very small. Like our reward is maybe this much range, but our risk is only this much because we've got this little wee triangle of, yeah, I'm right, or no, I'm wrong. Such a very clear edge to start taking a position on. So that's why I like the 50% retracement after a move. Look for the 50%. When it makes the 1, 2, 3 formation, then you can start staging in with your risk control rules. I love it. This is a phenomenal chart. I'm glad you reminded me to come back and check this out, because TRX is already taken off out of its 1, 2, 3, but Ripple hasn't. So now we can use that example of TRX, come back to Ripple, and a raft of other coins right now, a raft of them, and we can do this same analysis on it, and we get those coins. They haven't taken off yet. So here in Ripple, I want to point out the 1, 2, 3 in this little area that we've got, this beautiful little, and the crossover on the 4-hour time frame. And then I want to zoom into the 1-hour time frame and give this warning, this heat of warning. It's not a death. It's not death, because the 1 hour can really flag back and forth as we go sideways. But always got to pay attention to it, because this is where this is the head of the snake, basically. Where this turns, the rest of the body will follow if this has power. So if it goes deep and starts to go, and the 4 hour starts to cross negative, then we are probably going to be heading down further in this, just like that bull flag in ADA, the bear flag. If Bitcoin starts to go parabolic again, this will take a dive again, and we'll see it in Bitcoin dominance coming back up to these levels rather than dropping down. I love it. Let's go into the Ichimoku cloud. This is quite negative on the 4-hour time frame, and the 1-hour time frame, it could be a sell signal in the Ichimoku cloud coming up to touch the cloud like this, and it's all negative like this. If the blue line crosses the red right here and we are crossing down, that's a confirmation. So if Bitcoin is blasting off in the background and this is starting to fade back, we get that MACD crossing over. It's not party time that I'm thinking I'm wanting. I want Bitcoin to go up. I want Bitcoin dominance to drop. at the same time, just like we had from March to July of 2017. Those were the heydays. Now, Ripple, Bollinger Bands, I can't even, I have no idea. It's just gone. For me, the Bollinger Bands really helped out here, actually, on the 1, 2, 3 top formation, and they broke the midline. I did a video expecting that Ripple was coming down just because of this big skewer, and we did have a divergence, negative divergence in the indicators right off of these tops. It gave a little sputter before doing the drop down, so my call was a bit early, which is never good. You don't want to swing your bat early in a baseball game. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here now. Let's zoom in on this. And now I want to see the 1, 2, 3 and the potential for it to cross this midline on the 4-hour time frame. And I don't know, but I'm just making this up as I go along to try to get some correlation between what I'm seeing with the indicator along with my all-important 1, 2, 3. Because the 1, 2, 3 for me is the only thing real on the charts. Everything else is changeable. Everything else is changeable. I could go into this and I could change the length of this, 30. And now it all fits in my chart. Isn't that good? You know, everything is all changeable, but the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is something that you and I will not disagree on. We'll disagree on a bunch of other things, especially if we're Elliott wave analysts or Fibonacci analysts and Fibonacci circles, and I don't know what else there is. It goes on forever. So just pick a specific thing, get good at it. And for me, it's the 1, 2, 3s because we can always agree on it. Alex, you love Bollinger Bands? I've been learning more about Bollinger Bands and I still don't get it. I'm certain the light will come on and I'll start to use it. But I really, I got to apologize. I haven't gone out and watched 5 different Bollinger Band tutorial videos and taken notes at the same time, and then created my own little 2-page summary of Bollinger Bands and created a video on it. Then I have a real structured plan as to what I'm exactly looking for in the Bollinger Bands. Right now, I've just been sort of floating along and studying it against my own thing, and I'm asking for comments and input because some of the guys in our Discord chat have been really good Bollinger Band instructors, so it's been helping for me. Let me go on back to the chat. Ivan, good to have you along. T. Torchen, I'd love to have you here. No Jack, Low Jack. Let me give you a wrench. Ken Jorgensen, good to have you along. I had a karate instructor, Jorgensen. He was amazing. XRP can't break 30 cents. I never look at the price versus US dollar, and when I do, it gives you into that 3D chasing puzzle. And for me, I've got this chunk of money that's in crypto. I've got a chunk of money in gold and silver. I've got a chunk of money in different assets. But the crypto assets just stays in crypto. And so I'm either in Bitcoin or I'm in alts. And so I just want to go back and forth to whatever is going to be growing my pile bigger, with the assumption that altcoins are actually going to change the world and we're going to see phenomenal money-making stuff like we've seen with Bitcoin. Alexanders, I have some beef with you. I like chicken and pork too, but last week on the 22nd, just before BC's dumped, you told me I shouldn't have sold for profits. 2 hours later, it went on a landslide down. Well, be sure that you are knowing that the free live stream is not actually trading advice, because I can't give you the entire picture in this live stream. I can't tell you yes or no. And if I tell you yes or no, that doesn't include my risk control plans that protect me from being wrong. So one of the most important things is that you have to assume that you are wrong when you're putting on a trade. Every time I cross the road, I look both ways. And you know what? I live on a one-way street. But I just can't help it. I'm going to cross the road and I look and I see there's no traffic coming in the one way, and I look the other way. You know what? Because if I don't and I'm wrong, I will die. So if I don't look both ways, if I don't get protected against a losing trade, I'm going to lose money. If I don't plan for landing my airplane before I take off, I'm probably going to have a hard time. I'm going to land anyway, but it may not go very well. And you know, if you're not landing your plane properly, you're going to die. So in life, there are some things that we know to protect ourselves against, but in trading, we often get into it long before we would have graduated pilot school and they let us go on our first solo flight. We are putting money into an exchange and trading. Trading is more dangerous than driving a car, and yet we don't take the safety precautions. We don't know about what is a seatbelt in trading compared to towards real life. So I like that you have a beef with me, Alex Andrews. I love the example that you should. I would recommend that you go and buy the book Reminiscences of the Stock Operator. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator was written back in the 1920s or 30s, back when the stock market was super manipulated, more than it is now. And it was really similar to what's going on in the cryptocurrencies. So this guy wrote about his whole life story of learning how to trade stocks. And his whole progression led me to this spreadsheet where I am slowly folding in and unfolding a diversified cryptocurrency portfolio. So we can see, here's our Poloniex hold spreadsheet that you can see on January 18th. These were the hold coins. And you can see as the bull market came along in February 15th, February 16th, February 17th, February 18th, you can see which coins I was holding as my portfolio expanded. So I'm not risking it on any one coin going up or down, but I'm diversifying into the market as it expands. And then you can see that the number of hold coins went down here. I already sold out of some coins. They didn't prove me correct. They weren't doing what I wanted. Later, they came back in, so we picked them up again. But there's a specific pattern to it that you can see how this portfolio unfolded so that March 15th, we're at our maximum, and we're already pulling back by March 22nd, March 26th, March 28th. And we already know that it was April the 1st, April 2nd that everything started to dive. But you can see that our portfolio had pulled back a considerable amount by this. So by studying those methods of trading, not only do you learn about market manipulation, you learn not to follow other people's trading tips, but get your own trading plan and then practice it. And you also learn how to diversify across a portfolio rather than leaning on one coin to make it or break it for you. It really is awesome. Yeah, basically my goal is just to have more coins regardless of the actual price. Yeah, overall, basically, I do keep a look at the US dollar price of the whole portfolio, but sort of as a side view, I'm looking at my Bitcoin, number of Bitcoin for the portfolio all the time. And if Bitcoin price goes down, I want to have it over in alts so that that's going up. And then there are some times that as things are going down, I will short rather than sell my Bitcoin. And so I'll put on a small short position to hedge my portfolio. If the whole portfolio is going down in value because Bitcoin's going down, I will take a short. And so I'm not making as much as I'm losing. My short is only protecting me a little bit, but that's okay. Because I'm really, if we go to Bitcoin price, there was not a lot of work to do in Bitcoin trading. If you had purchased here, there's really not a lot to do. You could have sold out here at the 15K as it made that top formation and then bought back in here. But really, the rest of it is a whole bunch of make work project. And you could have made 20 times your money or something. And I think that this is going to be the same with all of the altcoins right now too. And there's not a lot of work to do. It's just a matter of diversifying into the right ones at the right time and then sit. So this spreadsheet is the cat's ass. And you can get access to this over on intro-to-cryptos.ca. There is a link down at the very bottom where you can sign up to this or our pro alerts that are much more detail. Now, one thing I wanted to do is to look at our pro alerts because we have some examples of what this trading signal did and what we got out of it. So here's link trade up 62%. So if you had to put in $1,000, you'd have $1,600 at the end of this trade. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, close the trade at the very top here, and we know that it's come back and given us a whole bunch of noise that we avoided by following our trading plan here. Here's another one with MDA that's up 112%. So you put in your $1,000, now you have $2,000. Crazy profits, unbelievable, and that is the right now, September 18th, 19th of this year. And then just last week, we're selling out there on the 17th or 18th of October. And these are pro alerts that you can have access to. Here's another one, AMB. Another pretty much 100%. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that we were watching for. Got ready for it, put our stop loss in. It just about nailed us with our stop loss. So this was a pretty lucky trade actually, but it turned out to be like 98% profit on this trade. And what I want to do is take a look at these markets now. Let's go look at Link. I got too many things open, like way too many things open. And if you've got a market you'd like me to go and take a look at, put it in the chat. I'd be happy to open it up and see what we're going on with it because it is so important right now. So here's the 3-month view. And here is the entry out of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And that's where I took the screenshot right there at this top formation. So there was more action to get into here, but again, it's a lot of noise. As soon as it broke out of this channel, we knew that there was going to be sideways action and just a lot of sitting around to do. So the sideways channel, the 1, 2, 3 formations, really awesome stuff. What was the next one we were looking at? MDA. I want to go and see what happened with MDA after this alert. MDA. So there again, this nailed it pretty well. Looking at the parallel trend line, the 1, 2, 3 top formation, the exponential moving average crossover on the 4-hour time frame, all of these things. And then prices all came down. So again, it got us in and out at the right time. That's so critical, not just getting in, but when to land, when to get out. What was the next one we just looked at? AMB was up 98%. Let's scroll down and take a look at AMB here. All right, so AMB, beautiful bottom formation setup here. Really, really nice. 1, 2, 3. Another difficult one that pulled back before a really nice breakout. A couple different opportunities to get into this. But again, you've got to know where you're getting out before you get in. So when you see that formation, you know it. You know what to do with it. So there's our 1, 2, 3 top formation, and there is one of the exit potentials there. Let's go and look at that AMB. So we took this screenshot when it was up at 98% profit. Way up here. Really phenomenal timing. Now it's come back. Hey, look at this. Let me clear this off because there is another textbook example, and I love to have it. Right from the top to the bottom of this recent move, it pulled back, in between the 50% and the 0.38. And inside that level, then we had our 1, 2, 3 formation and the breakout. So this is the hunt right this minute, is to go through chart after chart after chart and look for this 1, 2, 3 formation setting up. Look underneath it to see if you can find divergences in the relative strength index like this setting up. And we really have some golden tickets all over the place right now. Phenomenal. Let me go and check out USD, Bitfinex, XMR USD. So this is looking more promising, but for me it's hypnotizing. And it may be because I was stung before in July of 2017 until December of 2017, I was holding my alts and they went up in US dollar value, as you can see here. the alts went up in USD value. But if I had been, instead of holding my alts here and going up from $100,000 value that I had to $500,000 that I did, if I would have been holding Bitcoin, my $100,000 would have turned into $1.2 million. And so even though I see that this is going up in US dollar value, it's actually going down against Bitcoin at this very same time. And so I don't want to be hypnotized into thinking that I'm doing well because I'm making money here when I'm not making as much as I should have. So if I go back to this other chart now, you can see that it just wasn't as clear at all. If you could have traded this, you could have done very much better, but that's nuts for me and not average for the rest of the cryptos. They were on a downtrend through that period. So because this is on such a major downtrend against Bitcoin, I am not caring that it is going up in Bitcoin value or US dollar value like this. We see the bottom, we see a higher bottom, and we see a rounding bottom. It is a potential 1, 2, 3. And for my own part, it feels like I'm being hypnotized, because even though this looks like it's going higher, the winner is still Bitcoin. And so I'm still being duped out. Even though this has gone up, Bitcoin has gone up way more. And so there's my... So I disassociate from the US dollar when I'm looking at cryptos. And I really just look crypto to crypto to grow my crypto with crypto. And sometimes I have to take some out to fiat, but I got, like, for me, I call it the $500,000 mistake, where I would have made $500,000 more if I wouldn't have held my alts like the monkey with his hand in the coconut. You know, the monkey trap. The monkey can't change his value. He's holding on to the rice that is inside the coconut. The coconut is chained to the ground, and the hole is only big enough for the monkey to put his hand in with his hand palm opened. Then he reaches in and he grabs the rice and he closes his fist, and he can't pull his hand out that hole. The hunter is coming to get him, and he's pulling and pulling and pulling his hand against the coconut, but he can't get his hand out because his hand is closed and he's holding on to the rice. He can't let go of the rice and change his value system. And then he gets caught by the hunter. And then, of course, he lets go of the rice, but it's too late. The hunter has him. So I got caught in the rice trap, the monkey trap, and I held on to my alts even though I watched. And so that's why I've created these spreadsheets. That's why I've created all this data and all of this analysis, so that I see what's going on better. And so I can really pull up the data on anything when there's a question about a specific market. And I hope that it helps me see the big trend change and I am not duped again the next time. Anyway, I'll bring up more data on that. But this runs out for me on this stream. Phenomenal stuff to go through this. I appreciate you guys' questions. Great to have you along. Only looking for your TA on the USD pairs forming, breaking trend lines, went to the bottom EMA cross USD, understand your position. Let me take my bias out of there and go back to it. XMR USD. Clear that, clear this, open this up. 3-month view. It does have RSI building. It is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And this would be the break I'd be looking for. If it's softening off and going to continue on down because Bitcoin's going to hammer it like everything else, then this is the break line right there. And let me do this. Download my suite. Then I can go to Bitfinex USD 3-month view. So the MACD is accelerating on the 3-month view. So the 12-hour is showing strength. We have less dumping here from this bottom to this area. The RSI is building up off of these levels. And so now I want to see, do we have a negative turn in the RSI or the MACD as we're zooming in? So the 12-hour, 4-hour, for me to exit or feel the exit, this crossing to the negative while we have this trend line breaking gives me more negative places to be not liking it. If this crosses to the positive, this one specifically for me, if this 4-hour MACD continues to flare to the positive and we're able to keep positive histograms here, that will save the day. But if this histogram starts to cross to the negative and we're going down with especially bent crooked ones, then it's bad. Then we're going down more. This cross is really important. On that short time frame, zoom in to the 1 hour, already crossed to the negative. So then on this time frame, this has to cross to the positive to give us any positive juice. This has already showed that the 4-hour can expect rain, right? We got rain in the 1 hour forecast. We can expect it in the 4-hour to be coming soon, especially if the 1 hour is going further negative. If this turns around to the positive, it's going to pull the 4-hour to the positive. But because this is already to the negative, I'm expecting more down. We've got across to the negative, across to the negative, and it is already negative at this point. So those also give me, it's really, maybe I'm biased on it, and this is why I do these videos day by day, so that tomorrow I can go back and say, well, look, it's got to cross to the positive, and as soon as this crossed to the positive, it blasted off out of this consolidation formation. But those are the decision points that these indicators are giving me, along with the support and resistance lines right there. Now, the Ichimoku would be a different story. Bitfinex, XMR USD. Let's move back. It's coming up through the cloud. Been pretty consistently, let's go 1-day view. Consistently below the cloud here on the US dollar view. So it's still got a lot of work to do to build it up through this cloud to change momentum and direction. And the parallel channel, you know, if the channel is down and our exponential moving averages are, you know, the 60 is below the 20, then this is actually a sell signal in the Ichimoku cloud. It's a sell signal in the downtrend. Sell signal, sell signal. Once the exponential moving averages cross to the positive, then we're looking for buy signals in the uptrend, buy signals in the uptrend. But after they've crossed to the negative, then we're looking for sell signals in the downtrend. And switching directions is hard to do because it's emotional. Not because we can see it, right? I've seen trades. I've seen when I was trading MadeSafe coin and I was holding it and it was topping out. It was making a 1, 2, 3 top formation. It crossed the trend line. Exponential moving averages crossed over. I still believed in the project. I held on to that stuff. Thousands, more than $10,000. I'm certain more than $10,000 just evaporated because I believed in that. Boom, boom. Hey, no problem, T-Torch, and I'm glad for the question, and I'm glad that you clarified it too, because I was skipping past, and I put my own bias into it, which is the whole point of this live stream, is to analyze my analysis so that I can go back. I know my trading plan. It's a simple trading plan. So 1, 2, 3 bottom with these, I can say it in 30 seconds. It's simple, but my own analysis of it is always the weak point in it. So it's strengthened me up enormously by doing these videos over the years. And I'm super glad it's helping anybody out there. That's the most important part of the stream. And that's a long one. But I've got to sign off now, running out of time here. I've got a few things to do before I head off to the next yoga class. Thank you again for being here. Namaste, everyone. Good luck in all of your crypto trading.